What is up, Equine Edge family? Brady Klotz here with my co-host Mike Somich, ready to give you guys another edition of Good Chalk, Bad Chalk, Gulfstream Park, Laurel Park. Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Unfortunately, the fifth race, the penultimate race for the both pick fives knocked me out there, so got booted at Gulfstream's fifth. But we're gonna wheel back this pick four now. Excited to get this pick four going.
Absolutely. You know, Landry, man, he's hard to leave off the tickets. He's dangerous. Just when you expect him not to win is when he beats you, man.
Oh, it's one of those where I just didn't expect the loose lead, right? I thought the six was going to press the five a little bit more. The six didn't get out quite as well. 5-4 broke like a shot and never really got any pressure. And then that was that. So what can you do?
Move on to the next race and play the pick four. That's what we're going to do, Mike. Nick's in the house. Thanks, guys, for tuning in on a Thursday afternoon. I'm not snowed in for once. So, you know, I got a lot of work done today and I got some handicapping done. I'm ready to fire. We have a 1-2 Larry Ravelli, Irad Ortiz Jr. favorite here in Savage Sailor. A little bit lower than I thought he was going to be based off of the last effort. But the betting public thinks this horse is ready to fire today. Mike, we both have pick fours that we're going to release, and we're going to include this horse, but we're going to try to beat him. So we're using the three defensively. Who are you going to try to beat this heavy favorite with?
Well, I actually ended up pulling the three off my ticket last minute just because of the price. I cannot swallow 1-2. It's an interesting spot because I think everyone sees that previous line from the 3-horse Savage Sailor. They see this massive class drop. But if you go two back, we beat Maiden 16, and that's where we were claimed from. So going with a $12,000 open claimer from Maiden 16 really isn't much of a class drop. So for me, I'm going to try and get around this 3-horse at 1-2. I was interested at the horse, you know, at the 2-1 morning line price or somewhere in that 8-5 range, and willing to go 4 horses deep if we get somewhere what I thought was around fair value on this 3. But at this point, I think the 3 is just way over bet. The 2 horse is my top pick here. A similar trade. This horse I think is going to be able to be forwardly placed, although not necessarily on the lead, which I think is important in these races. You do have 2 cheaper speed horses in here. The 2 should sit that third place trip right behind, and I'm hoping the 2 can wheel out coming down the stretch. I like the fact that we have won over this turf course going this distance, and I like the fact that the last 2 efforts were an open $16,000 optional claimers. We're dropping in for the 12-5 tag here. I think you're getting a nice class reduction. I like the fact that we've won over this track. I think the 2 is awfully live here, 5-1 right now.
I do like the 2 a lot too. The question I was asking myself is, why does Edwin Gonzalez not have the mount for this Cassie horse? Edwin and Cassie have been absolutely killing it on the synthetic, and Edwin's actually riding the 1 horse, Cryptic Creek here, who is the Equine Edge long shot play of the day. So I thought that was an interesting angle. I mean, who's riding this synthetic horse better than Edwin? I mean, pretty much nobody. And he gets home at a price, 5-6 to 1, just about every single time out. And so I was going to use the 1 here. I thought that maybe that was an interesting angle, that he was maybe not going to ride for Cassie here. We're getting 10 to 1. We're getting the EE long shot play. The EE morning line's a little bit lower than the live odds. We're getting 14% to win. As we know, guys, speed has just not been the best place on the synthetic. So I left the speed horse, the 8 Gilligan, off my ticket here. I think Cryptic Creek sits a kind of a dream trip here, along with the 2 similar taste. It's just going to be a matter of if the Ravelli horse is ready to fire.
Yeah, I'm hoping no. And the Ravelli horse run well over this course. It's just that, look, there's 2 bad races, 1 good race. That, like, the last race just didn't run at all at a short price. I like that. I obviously having Irad pick up the mount's a big thing for Ravelli, but it's just too short of a price here for me to swallow, especially when I'm getting 92 on a horse that's my top pick on the 2. And the fact that, like, I like some favorites later in the sequence, and so if I like the favorite in the next race, who I believe will be the favorite, and I like the favorite in the last race quite a bit, the Chad Brown horse dropping in, it's tough for me to then swallow a 3-5 price here on a horse that I don't like that much. So you got to leave off the favorites somewhere. I reduced my ticket literally right before we came on live from a $40 play to a $30 play. I ended up going 1-2-5 with 2-4, 1-3-4, 5-8 with 2-9 for $30.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I ended up singling an 8 to 1 shot. So my ticket read 1-2-3-5 in the first leg with 2-4, 5, 6, 7. Singling the conglomerate, the 5 horse in race in the third leg there. And then also using 1, 2, 3, 4 in the final leg for a $40 ticket for 50 cents. And so hopefully we can beat the Ravelli chalk here in the first leg and get off to a good start. Mike brings up a good point. Sometimes you would throw this chalk out just because of how heavily he's getting bet. I didn't expect him to be this low. Maybe we'll go off at even money and it won't be so bad. But, Mike, we talk about a lot what's going to be the most singled horse in the sequence. It might be the 3 here.
It might be the 3 here, but the reason why, our ticket structures are quite different. I think it's important to know, like, I don't mind your use of the 3 here because you're singling an 8-1 shot in the third leg. You're avoiding necessarily some of the favorites in that spot. So you're not you can't just straight chalk out, right? I have a problem where I am using the favorite, who I believe will be the 4 there in the second leg, and the 2 in the last leg will be the favorite. So you already have your leg where you're just completely avoiding a short price favorite, and you'll be able to hopefully get some value through that 5 horse. So the way we structure them is different, but it's the same general concept that you're trying to beat the horses you don't think are at the right value. In this case, for me, it's the 3. In your case, you're singling to that 5 horse who's 8-1.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like we're loading in now. We'll add the stream here so we can get Pete Aiello on the call. And man, it's just good to see racing on a Thursday and be live with you guys. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. We'll start the late pick 4. Me and Mike are going to go over these races, and then we're going to actually head to Laurel
Icy Storm
as well.
And Classic Film, the next 2 to go forward. Then
I just opened my ExpressBet account. I haven't opened it since Sunday, and there's $600 in there. What did I hit?
Rebates. Right?
I got to look back at the history here. I mean, I was terrible last weekend.
I'm going rebates.
Yeah, thanks, Fairgrounds.
Fairgrounds.
Oh, man. I was all over that Santon horse at the 12. Everybody was 12 morning line. We can talk about that after this race. But here we're in the gate now and ready to go.
I like Nick's style here, pressing this pick 4. That 9 in the last is awfully interesting. 15-1 morning line, and Irad picks up the mount. I think that 9 is live too. I know 2 deep there with the brown and the Irad horse.
For similar taste, who heads off for the early lead.
Like the pace number is pretty spot on there. Had the 8 going to the lead with the 1 and the 2 close. Looks like the 1 couldn't hold the spot there from the 2.
Storm in the charge to the first turn.
So Gilligan's going to take the lead into the first turn, but similar taste is pressing. This is good news for the 3.
Not as close as I want to be here with this 2 horse. I was hoping that we were sitting behind some other speed, but now, hopefully here the 2 can now swing wide and get first run up here on the 8.
I'm interested in the 5 too. I used the 5 Gaffleone Classic Film on my ticket as well. This horse is going to have to majorly step up in class to win today. Won last time out on the synthetic track. Winning can breed winning, and it looks like Gaffleone's got this horse into the clear and on the move.
Yeah, that one was one you expected to launch late. I bet they slowed down quite a bit here in the second quarter. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see a 49 range, something like that coming up here.
Ravelli horses are tough to bet when they come from off the pace. He likes to go to the lead and turn them away, quarter horse style, Wesley Ward style. So,
up to the outside,
49 on the synthetic. It's not slow. It's not fast. It looks like Irad's going to have some trip trouble, though.
Yeah, that is a problem for him. He tried to start making his move there and got caught behind, and now he's going to get probably 3rd run on this leader. And Jose Ortiz was on the
7 at 16-1. Oh, here we go. Here we go again.
I think this 1 could be tough, too, if he gets room. The 1 has the horse. He's got to get out.
Come on, 2.
Let's see if he can get out.
He has the lead.
Get out with the 1. Get out with the 1. Get up with the 1.
Come on.
Come on. Hold, buddy.
Hold,
buddy. Give us that
Turn
price.
away.
Hold. There we go.
All right. Let's go. There we go. There, the Edwin Gonzalez angle. We talked about he was off the Cassie. He was loaded for about a 16th of a mile and couldn't get out. But once he finally did, you got 6-1 on that horse. You beat maybe the most singled horse in the sequence. So great job, guys, if you had that there. EE long shot play of the race. So, wow, that's all right. We get started with a 6-1 shot, which is going to pay a lot more in the horizontals because of an even money shot going down.
Well, that 1 actually took some money late. He was up at 11-1 or so when we were talking about him. And that was just a case of that horse needed room. I mean, you could tell top of the lane. We just needed to get that 1 out, and we were going to see a rush there. And so I'm glad that the 1 was able to get the split because I think the 3 gets up for second here, doesn't he? So me leaving that 3 off could have stung early here in the sequence. Oh, maybe it was a 7 that held. Yeah, it was a 7 that held for second. So the 7 could have busted us both if that 1 doesn't get loose.
I know, and that was Jose Ortiz coming at 16-1. We're like, okay, come on, Irad, no games. But that just shows you an overbet favorite there that hasn't been proven. I mean, last time out had a perfect trip. Gaffleone actually rode Savage Sailor last time out at Gulfstream and just had no kick in the lane. And, the horse finally got out with a little bit of a better trip. The 3 probably wins this race, but you could say that the 1 was way better than the 3 with a better trip as well.
The one definitely saved ground, and the 3 got a rough trip. They're having to be almost checked and then wheeled 4 wide there around the far turn. But that's part of the benefit of being on the rail, right? Sometimes you're able to work out those trips, be able to split and go. The thing is, and we mentioned, like, I started calling it at the 8th pole. That one needs room, and as soon as he got it, he burst through. He gets room earlier. He might not even be close to being caught toward the end there. So I think they both had a little bit of trip trouble. The 3 is probably a little bit worse, but the one I think would have accelerated a lot earlier and made it tough for the 3 to make up 4 or 5 lengths.
Absolutely. Well, that helps my price on Conglomerate. I might have Conglomerate at like 400 to 1. We'll see.
You might get a number on him. I'm glad I chucked the 3 there. Saved me $10 on the ticket, and we got around a favorite that we didn't like. And it's one of those, the defensive use has become overused in my mind. You kind of have to, some people need to pull that back a little bit, because it's tough to defensively use an even money shot when they're going to be heavily singled. How many, 70% of the tickets here, 65% included the 3? So you really need to be willing to say this horse should be 4 to 5 or shorter to even include him on your ticket, which is, to me, it's a little tough to do that if you don't like the horse. Now, if you like the horse, that's a different story. But if you don't like it, it's a good one to try and get around.
That'd be some good information to find out sometime if anybody ever had that, to say, hey, if you could look at the combinations of pick 4s or pick 3s in a sequence to see, okay, where was the most singled horse? Who was the least used horse? And I think it'd be interesting. It might, everybody looks at the will pays to try to kind of figure out, hey, who are we using? Who's live? I know some guys that'll just bet whoever the favorite is in the will pays. And it's like, oh, this horse must be live. The connections are betting. Not always the case, but it can kind of give you some good indicators like that.
It can. It was interesting on Saturday. The double to the O'Neills, the O'Neill double, Redham double, was the second double in that whole sequence, because it was just getting hammered because the connections were both there. I love that Gulfstream Park tells you how many tickets are left. Santa Anita tells you how many tickets are left in the Rainbow Six, which means they have the technology to know that. Let's take it one step further. Tell me how many tickets are left with each horse in the race. Because then it really lets you know, okay, which 7-2 shot do I actually want? Who am I fading here? Who am I trying to beat here? I think that would make it a lot more interesting for the horse player. And you could dive in pretty analytically if you actually saved that data or shared that data race by race. And you could go through it and figure out, okay, who do I want here? Let's see how this horse was bet. That would give you a lot more information, especially when you're attacking these multi-wager bets. So it'd be cool if racetracks actually did that, because they clearly have that information.
They have it. Let's share it. Pedlo's asking, how much is EE? There's a bunch of different types of memberships, Pedlo. Just go to equineedge.com. And if you sign up, you get a free coaching session with Scotty 101. And then there's different kinds of memberships on a monthly basis. So check out equineedge.com. Dennis, we're going to actually be showing a little bit of Laurel. It goes off maybe 5-6 minutes before Gulfstream does. And so we'll hit up Laurel here in maybe about 10 minutes or so, and then go to the next race at Gulfstream. Mike, let's talk a little bit about the Fairgrounds races over the weekend. I mean, I've never lost so many photo finishes in 90 minutes between Gulfstream and Fairgrounds. I mean, I was all over Just Might, the sprinter. I'm going to try to find this race real quick for us that Pyron won. And everybody was worried about this Toro Strike horse coming over from across the pond for Pletcher and Saez. And halfway through the race, I was worried about him. But, I mean, Colby Hernandez was pretty chilly on Just Might. And I think he thought he had won the race. But we talk about it all the time. That Fairground stretch is so long. And I'm the guy that yells wire. And I yell wire at Keeneland, who's got a short stretch. I lost my freaking voice on Saturday yelling wire, wire, wire at Fairgrounds.
Yeah, I lost my voice yelling 4-letter expletives during this race, because I was pretty sure I was going to lose with Just Might at the 8th pole. I didn't know who was going to beat me, but that horse just Colby wasn't really asking, but I don't think it was because the horse, I don't think it was a bad ride. I think he was empty and he knew it. And it was one of those spots where if he asked, he was worried the horse was going to stop more. Because sometimes if you hit a horse when they are already out of gas, they just drop the anchor because they don't want to get hit again. And if they try and spurt forward, it's telling them to keep going. So I felt like Just Might was just done at the 8th pole, which was shocking considering easy lead, fractions weren't that fast. This horse should have won for fun, and it didn't. And it stung because I had the 2 winners in the previous races and was live to some nice pick 4s if we could have gotten through Just Might here.
Absolutely. And, it's funny. The 2 threats I thought were Cowan and Toro Strike, and neither of them ran a step. I was really surprised by Cowan because last time out was put up by DQ against Just Might and ran, a clear second place. Didn't run a winning effort, but I thought maybe if that horse improved or Just Might didn't have it, I thought Cowan or Toro Strike were the ones because I've been following Pyron for 3 years now. And man, that horse just pisses me off. Like,
it's funny you say that right when Nick types this, and it's one of those things in horse racing where you have horses that owe you money or that have cost you money, and like it seems like Fairgrounds for both you and Nick on Saturday kind of that came to fruition.
I don't know. Maybe Pyron's my new Raging Bull. We'll see.
No, please don't do that.
No
Pyron
more
is so much worse than Raging Bull.
Okay, Cyberknife. Pretty
we'll
clear cut winner there. That was an allowance race. I singled past the plate on every ticket. I thought he was home in the middle of the track. And was it Pedroza that was riding? I think. I don't think he saw the block horse coming up the rail. I mean, where did that effort come from?
Yeah, I don't know where that effort came from. This one was the most frustrating to me because I was 1-3 and everything. Like I clearly
it was a 2-horse race for you, and they finished second and third.
And we talked about it on the show last week. I thought the 1 and the 3, past the plates and past the plate and Escon were clearly the two best horses in the race. And man, they lost a horse that I can't explain why they lost to. Like this is just one of the ones where you're just like, all right, horse racing.
Bill's asking, does yelling wire help the horse win? Absolutely. Yeah. It's the algorithm that no one else has, but so we've got it. I've got a special talent at yelling wire. You can ask my buddy Dylan Rossi, DJ Nation. When I'm in the suite at Gulfstream with those guys and I'm yelling wire, for some reason it works every time. I'm like the opposite of a mush when it comes to that.
I like it. I do the aggressive lean. Like if I lean this way, like that's going to change the angle for the wire. Doesn't work as much as I'd like it to.
Yeah. It's like a roller coaster ride. But yeah, past the plate, I was jumping for joy. And I mean, that was only by a head. It wasn't by much. It was a tough loss to have. And I couldn't have gotten, it was a 2% horse in block. Just, if we look at the past performances here, the horse, showed a little bit against, what I would have considered lesser two back, and really hadn't shown anything since Churchill Downs October of last year. The horse just woke up, must have ate all of his Wheaties that day.
Yeah, I mean, give the GSR jump, but that's about all you can point to there, and it wasn't enough for me to get to that 5.
Yeah, me neither. A lot of people considered a 2-horse race. I tried to beat Olympiad and Miles D here. I tried to use the Pletcher horse Untreated. I used Bezos. I used Midcourt. I used Silver Prospector. And in a few aggressive tickets, I left off the 2 favorites, and I regretted it because I think Olympiad, was that a track record or something? It was some kind of record. I don't know for sure. I heard it was very impressive.
It was close. Olympiad stamped his ticket as one of the better older males in the country. So it'll be interesting to see where Olympiad goes next. I was 2-4-5 and everything here. I didn't think this was a very exciting race. I thought a lot of people made cases for horses that probably couldn't win. I mean,
we were fishing. We were looking. And
here's the thing: like you look at Olympiad. Olympiad looks beatable on paper because the biggest number is against Baby Yoda in a false number race, and so you look at that and you're like, But then you have to realize Olympiad's better going 2 turns than sprinting, and all those previous numbers are sprinting. And now that he gets to go around 2 turns, you're starting to see that improvement from Olympiad and the horse that we all expected him to be way back when as a 2-year-old when he ran one of the best maiden special weights at Saratoga.
Yep, absolutely. So that was good if you had Olympiad. That was a track record, we found out. This one absolutely destroyed me because in multi-race wagers, I was just 3-6 and Cavalry Charge. Dallas Stewart again. I think Dallas Stewart won the 3rd race at like 18-1 or the 2nd race at 18-1, knocked a lot of people out of their pick 5s early in the day. And then he has a 35-1 bomb. Brian Hernandez Jr. up the rail again at the last minute. And I don't know how the 6 horse didn't win this race. I had a nice win bet on Santon and a huge exacta 3-6. And halfway down the lane, I was leaning a little bit. I was like, okay, this can happen. Switch leads, Tyler. Switch leads, Tyler. Switch leads. And it didn't work. Santon's stride's unbelievable, but he just didn't have it on Saturday.
Yeah, if you go to the YouTube Racing Dudes YouTube channel, we did a live stream for these races on Saturday, and this was the last one I caught. I had a large win wager on the 6. I had a lot of doubles with the 6. I was full lean here because I'm like, come on, get up with this Brown, because it just looked like they were going so slow. I think they went the final quarter in almost 14 seconds, and so they were crawling up front. It was really whether or not the 6 could just run them down, and I was just hoping that stretch could be one more jump because the 6 was by him as soon as that line hit. So frustrating to lose by a nose here with a horse. I think, this has been interesting. This horse is going to get way over bet next time. I want nothing to do with Itama next time out because that was not that impressive of a race, and it looked visually impressive that last furlong, but everyone else was crawling, and so it was not visually impressive. It was not physically impressive, even though it was visually impressive.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to avoid Santon because this horse is going to be singled the rest of the year. That's just, there's a few horses that the name gets clicky. Godolphin. Oh, this horse has an unbelievable stride. Oh, all he needs is the right spot. I mean, the horse was 12-1 morning line, a bad morning line. We had it at 4-1. We were kind of the wise guys on this horse, and the horse ran a good race. Look, it was a blanket photo. The horse lost by a half a length or so. I mean, so it wasn't much. Give him an excuse maybe next time out, but you're probably going to get like 3-2 even money on this horse in a lot of his next starts. I don't know. When I saw 12-1 morning line, I would rather have just been live in multi-race wagers because you get a lot better value than the 5-2, 2-1 that he went off at. So I kind of regret my win bet in my exacta 3-6 because of how heavy this horse was bet by the public. I mean, the word was out on this horse, and it was almost too good to be true.
Yeah, this was one of the ones where you should have looked offshore or looked at your local sports book because a couple of places were offering fixed odds on the last 4 at Fairgrounds. And I think you were getting 8-1 or 9-1 on Santon in the fixed odds market. So you got to shop around when you like some of these wise guy horses. And I think one of the guys posted that how bad the morning line was on Smile Happy, which we'll talk about. And John White, who makes the morning line for Santa Anita, replied, the morning line on Santon's worse. It was. Both were not good.
Pretty far off.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Rachel Alexandra quick before we get to Laurel and Gulfstream again. This was a race where I'm probably going to draw a line through because of what happened to Lacrete. A lot of people are giving Joel Rosario credit for saving this horse's life. I mean, he got her outside and away from trouble right away. It was sad to see that happen, but we're glad that she's going to be okay.
Yep.
After that happened, I mean, Hidden Connection was very close to Lacrete pretty much that whole entire race and ended up being a little bit of a pace collapse. We had Goddess of Fire, which was the Pletcher horse, and then Turner Loose, Brad Cox, Florent Giroux, the two duo that wins the Oaks every year, it seems like. They come in and pay $37. I mean, this horse was so dead on the board. I mean, EE had it at 5-1, and the track morning line had it at 12-1. And so why was this horse so overlooked?
Well, the horse isn't very good. I mean, this effort came out of nowhere. It's a turf horse, and this is the first time we saw Turner Loose on dirt. I want no one out of this race. You can't convince me, and I echo your sentiments. I'm very happy that Lacrete's okay. Like, that is the most important thing by far. She was my top pick in this race. You can't convince me she wouldn't have won if she didn't have any issues.
Joel, wire to wire in
there
both
was no
Rachel Alexandra and the big one. So
no way she wasn't wiring this field. This field was not good. I mean, I talk about stumble bunnies every now and then when we're talking about like low level claimers going a mile and eighth. This was stumble bunnies. Like they were having trouble. They were sucking some serious wind coming down the stretch. It's why you thought that like at one point Awake at Midnight might be able to win, but like needed some room. And then it looked like Goddess Fire was running away. She absolutely hit a wall. And then Turner Loose just kind of plotted home the best. I don't want any piece of anyone out of this.
Me neither. And so, Hidden Connection is one of those Breeders' Cup horses where Hidden Connection is going to get overbet the rest of the year too. A lot of these horses that peak at 2 go to the Breeders' Cup. Not all of them come back like Essential Quality. And it's just, they ran their best race, and it's hard to sustain a campaign like that, year in and year out. So Hidden Connection, I didn't even use on my ticket. I used 1-9 and some press tickets, and then I used North County, the 2 horse that really didn't do any running. But this was a hard race for me. Let's move forward again to let's see here. Epicenter won the Risen Star. Gate to Wire, Joel Rosario. Unfortunately, I had already stopped betting at that point. I was having a whiskey in my hot tub and just drowning in my sorrows. Pace number showed Epicenter on top. Showed a couple of other need the lead types, but Joel just put this horse on the lead and never looked back.
Yeah, I was surprised Epicenter made the lead, to be honest. And that completely changed the complexion for me. I was smiling happy and slow down. I used Smile Happy and Slow Down Andy on most of my press tickets here because I thought we were going to see a pace duel. I thought the 2, the 5, and the 6 were all going to be out there winging it. And I thought that Papa Cap actually might try and show some more speed from the rail because, the definition of stupidity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome, right? And Papa Cap did exactly what he did in the previous race, trying to just, sit on the inside of Epicenter and then make a run. And guess what? Didn't work last time, didn't work this time. Epicenter got away with slow fractions here, slower than last time. And then because of that, no one was running them down no matter what type of trip you had. I'm glad that people are saying Smile Happy had a bad trip and could have won. Because I can't wait to bet against Smile Happy next time.
Like you were saying, if you get Lannery and McPeak as the favorite in the Derby, oh, you'd be licking your chops.
Yeah.
Pedlo's got a question. When you see a speed figure like the last race for the two back on August 11th, what do you all look at? Those are much higher figures here than the race 7. Okay, 2 races back. We'll look at that real quick, and then we'll move on to Laurel, guys. We're talking about the 5 Monarchs Glen. Is that what you're talking about, Pedlo?
Yeah, give us the name of the horse, so just to help us out. And
give us the name of the horse really quick here, and if not, we'll try to circle back to it after we get in with Laurel. So we'll just head to Laurel now, and if he gets back to us, we can go back to Fairgrounds race 11. Okay, Mike. Thank you, Laurel Park, for opening up today so we could show your feed here. We've got Mare's 4-year-old Nup going 6 furlongs on the dirt, $12,500 claimer. Let's see here. We're going to sort by the pace. Looks like we got a couple of fast horses in the 7, Shaka Boom and R. Avery Lynn here. The betting's really spread out here. The favorite's kind of lukewarm at 2-1. And then we got as high as 9-1 here. Mike, this is, if you can really narrow down in this leg, you're going to get paid in a horizontal. We've got the win percentages all spread out here. All the horses are coming out of the same races. And so EE looks like it has the favorite on top here at 2-1. Now that's a jockey trainer combination, 37%. Jeez. I mean, it's not bad. That's almost roulette, dude. You like anything here? I mean, this was a tough race.
If the price holds on the 2, Grace Isabella, that's where I'm going to go. And the main reason here is, look, we have 11% on a 4-1 isn't great, but it's not terrible either. But when you look at this horse, you dig a little deeper. First off, the jockey's leaving the 3 for the 2. I think that's a good sign. Secondly, and this is key for me, the last time this horse ran was its first time out since October, and this is an 8-year-old, right? So first time out since October. I think it probably needed that race. On top of that, we were 4 to 5 wide on the turn, which we're not going to be out of the 2 post here, hopefully. And additionally, it was over a sloppy racetrack. And this horse is 1 for 6 over a sloppy racetrack and 5 for 32 over faster, including 12 for 32 in first or second over faster. So I think when you look at a horse like Grace Isabella, she needed the start and she ran over the sloppy track, which is not what she wants to do. She wants to be over a fast track. So I think this track is going to play a little bit more to her. And she's going to be a little bit more fit since we're second out here off that layoff. Yep.
No, absolutely. Good points there. And you're going to get 7-2, 4-1, somewhere in that range. Another good jockey trainer combination. Sort by the GSR. All the GSRs are pretty much spread evenly. So, man, this is just a bunch of horses that continuously beat up on each other. It seems like every 2 or 3 weeks. So we've got 2 minutes to post there. We're going to check in on Gulfstream real quick as well. See how the tote board's handling. It looks like Pedlo's question was in race 7 coming up here at Gulfstream. So you want to know the 5 horse. We'll look at the speed figures here. So it looks like the 5 Corrado is lowest on the totem pole when it comes to speed figures. But he's asking, what were you asking again? Let me go reread his question here. Let me look at a speed figure like that. Race 5, August 11th. What do y'all look at? We must not be looking at the right horse because I'm not seeing. Oh, August 11th. There we go. On the dirt. Much higher figures than most here in race 7. Trying to understand the question. Are you talking about pace figures? Or are you talking about GSR? Let us know a little bit more detail on that. This is going to have a ton. I thought the 4 would be favored amount here. It's Irad and Pletcher. EE's got this at 6-5, but Corrado is actually the horse that's really getting some play. Castellano and Shug McGahee here. So definitely an open betting board. We'll talk about that. Is Laurel getting in the gate?
Yep, we're loading right now. So we're
going to go over to Laurel, show you guys this race live. We're going to cheer on the 2 for Mike here.
I'd like to get a little better than 7-2, but it's not terrible. I think I was 2-5 in tournaments here. Yeah, 2-5 were the 2 that I considered to use, or I used in tournaments here. So one of those 2 would be nice. But I like the 2 a little bit more, although I would have liked a little bit higher price. The 5 is a top GSR in the race at 7-1, so I kind of like that piece of it. And I think this race is absolutely wide open. Ken, the pick 4s that are scrolling on the bottom are for Gulfstream. The first race in the sequence went off right after we came in there, about 6 minutes after we came on air. So we had those up. I think we're both live right now since the 1 horse was able to get home at 6-1 in that first leg.
All All right, looks like we've almost got them all in. And here we go, going 6 furlongs. Pretty level break for most of the field. Looks like you're going to get an inside trip.
Yep, and that one is
2 speedballs are going head and head, and the 2's going to sit right in between and wait for her spot.
Yep. Now this is right where you want to be there. The 3 and the 2 are going to be that next flight of horses, and it's all going to be whether or not the 2 is going to be better than the 3 horse here coming home, and if we can get a lane. I mean, obviously that's going to matter as well. But I'd expect that the 1 and the 7 are going to slow it down a little bit, or come back to the pack a little bit once they turn for home, and hopefully we can get the 2 by here. We're asking a little bit earlier than the 3, which is never a good sign. The 4 actually looks like it's got some run as well. I'm not sure if she's going to be able to get through the rail here or not. The 7 actually looks pretty nice up front, too.
Yeah, he looks pretty chilly. I think might just hand
by that 1. Your favorite's not going to get it done, I'll tell you that much.
No. The horse was way over bet. Looks like this is a 2-horse race at this point. The 2's trying to run for minor awards. Yeah, 7 all day. Yeah, no horses were really making up any ground there.
Nope. And it's one of those times, like 3 horses make a definite speed duel. Sometimes 2 horses don't burn each other out. And like you look at 85 and 82 as the early pace numbers, they go 23, almost 48, 1 minute and 3, and then 1:14 and 2. I mean, that's not fast. So it's not like they were burning up there, even though you had the 2 of them going after each other.
All right, there you have it from Laurel. We're going to head back to Gulfstream now and take a look at the 7th race. Really important race in the sequence here. Now the 4-horse amount for Pletcher and Irad are getting bet. And just as we expected, this horse is probably going to go off right around even money. I don't know that the horse deserves to be even money. We're dropping heavily in class. Pletcher's clearly maybe trying to get rid of this horse. And so that's not like a great sign for me. It's Rapoli, it's Irad, it's Todd. It lost by 15 lengths last time out going a mile against the 64 group. Now we're jumping down to a 50 group. So, this is the same level as the maiden special weight that the horse won first time out going 7 furlongs. I mean, they put this horse in the Holy Bull last year. And I don't think I bet this horse, surprisingly.
I think I did.
Did you? Oh, it was Saya, so I definitely didn't bet the horse. Yeah, the horse lost by 99.99 lengths, meaning it lost by over 100, because I don't think we can put 100 on there. So, and then he comes back, gets Lasix, runs 4th against a 66 group, runs 9th, beaten by 15. There's a few excuses here, but not enough for me to support this horse at 7-5.
Yeah, I didn't think this horse was going to be 7-5, because the other thing you didn't mention here is we're coming up. This is second off almost a year layoff. So you got almost a year in between starts there. And then, I probably had Prime Factor.
I hammered Prime Factor. I texted my buddy Greg. I was at Gulfstream that day, and I go, this is the best horse I've ever seen in person. And then he ran like that. And I think, wasn't it Greatest Honor that absolutely circled the field? Yeah,
Greatest Honor won that. And ironically, Mount lost to Known Agenda next out, and that horse obviously ended up in the Derby as well. But like coming back after almost a year layoff, the horse was like cold on the board in my mind at 6-1. I didn't think we would be seeing 7-5, 8-5 here. I thought this would be around 5-2. I don't want any part of the 5 here. This was one of those that just kind of uninteresting to me. I don't like the Tampa horses coming over to Gulfstream. Generally, that's a play against for me. I think the 2 Gundus is really interesting in this spot. 8-1 morning line. It's 6-1 on the board right now. This horse feels like lone speed, doesn't it? And this
feels like Latruska for Fausto Gutierrez. Out of the Ben Colbrick barn, this is first time for Fausto. And I imagine that Junior is just going to send and Catch Me If You Can going a 1-turn mile at Gulfstream. Look at the huge pace advantage, Mike. I mean, we have a 71, and then the next closest is 47.
Well, and also click back on there because I think this is important. It's one of those angles that I like looking at with Equinedge. The GSR is an 81. For this race on the 2-horse. GSR, the last race was a 73. Why was it a 73? It was on turf. This horse is much better bred for dirt. And then if you close out of here and you look at the GSR for the entire field, we tower over this field in GSR as well. So having a big time pace advantage, a big time GSR advantage, and in my mind, stepping to the surface that you want to be on, as well as a barn switch that is, I don't want to knock Colebrook, but Fausto is 33% first time in his barn. It's a pretty darn good number as well. So you take all of those things together. I think that the 2 is pretty dangerous here to go gate to wire.
and definitely getting some attention from the system. 13% win off of an 8-1 morning line, a huge pace advantage. Figures here based on average SOR for the same race SOR. We do have some class droppers in here. And then the GSR also towers over the field by 9 points. And so, I mean, if you play Equine Edge, you've got to play this horse. I mean, if you believe in the system, I don't know how you couldn't at least include the 2 on your tickets here. Let's say the 2 can't go gate to wire. Maybe, because we're coming out of sprinting on the dirt to routing on the turf. And so we've never gone, I guess, 8 furlongs on the dirt before. So we're going to see if maybe this horse wants this distance. Hasn't won yet going 8. But, some of these horses get brave on the front end in these types of claiming level races, and maybe they just kind of carry on. Outside of the 2 and the 4, I did like the 5, 6, and 7 that I used in my pick 4 ticket as well. Corrado's obviously getting some attention out of Shug's Barn. The 6 horse, I didn't know what I wanted to do with. This is Jose Ortiz riding for Jane Sabelli here. And I just didn't want this horse to beat me. So I was already going at least 3 or 4 deep here. I was like, okay, I'm only spending $40 on my ticket. I'm going to throw the 6 on because I don't know what to do with the horse. I had no case for or against. And so the horse scared me. The other horse that I thought that maybe could get up was the Blue Dragon, the EE long shot play. This is the Sweezy horse. So I want to see all you guys in the winner's circle. If he's there, go. Ken will let you in. Tell him Brady sent you.
Yeah, I like the 7 next. That was my next horse in here. And I think the 6 is interesting. Like the 7, this is the first time we've gotten back on dirt since we ran second in Monmouth in a $46,000 maiden special weight, and also the lowest level we've ever been at after being in maiden 30 and then claiming 30 last 2 times out. On the 6, it's another instance where that GSR jump is there because the 6 last time out was on synthetic. This time we are going to be going on dirt. I also think the mile distance is better than the mile and a 16th distance for the 6 as well. So I don't think the 6 had much of a shot last time. I think you can really draw a line through that effort. So the 6 and 7 are both interesting to me. The 5, I can't with the 5. The 5 is one of those horses where I'm just, if that horse beats me, I am totally fine with it. It's just not one that I can ever use. I ended up just going 2-4 here because I like the speed and I think I have the best horse with the 4. But I do think the 6 and 7 are interesting long shots if you wanted to spread a little bit more here or play, try or super, go play, use them underneath.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully you guys are live like us in the pick 4, and maybe you played a pick 5 before we came on air. This is going to pay decent no matter what happens the rest of the way, as we beat the most single horse in the field. So looks like we've got 0 minutes to post here. They kind of circling on the track now. They're taking their time again.
Yeah. It's Gulfstream. They're back at it.
It is. So let's
Elliot
see.
Elliot mentions the 1's getting bet. And then John run underneath goes 1-2 here in GP7. So we should probably at least take a peek at the 1 here. It's not one that I focused on. I don't think you did either, Brady. Interesting coming in from Pimlico. 2 races at longer distances. Got voided claim last time and has Holmes up, who's a bug boy, getting 10 pounds. Man, looking through it, the numbers are just a little bit light, but they don't completely not fit. I mean, if we run back to one of the decent races at Pimlico or at Laurel, even the stakes race at Laurel, source could be a little bit interesting. In that last race in December 26, 2020, was actually about a 2-1 favorite in the stakes at Laurel. So has some interesting back class on the 1 and has been bet down from a 12-1 morning line all the way down to 6-1 here.
Yeah, that was the last horse off of my ticket. I couldn't make a case. We got the horses coming in from Pimlico. I don't usually see that angle coming down to Gulfstream, and so Nick says Latruska's back this Saturday.
Yep,
awesome, off the layoff and everything, and so we'll see if she's ready to fire for her next campaign. We've got one more to load. Good luck to everybody. Let's get maybe this 2 home.
I wouldn't mind this 2 wire in the field. Interesting to see what they break off at here as well. So we are off. Looks like 2 ends up going off at 7-2. It was about 6-1. We started talking about it, and that the 7 horse here is 13-1. It's a nice price there. 4 horse went off as your favorite at 8-5, and the 2 is going to clear fairly easily here. So it's going to be whether or not we can sustain the speed for a mile.
Mm-hmm. This is another type of race where if you're getting really aggressive, maybe you leave the 4 and the 5 off of your ticket. These little of claiming races, anything can happen. The 2 went down to 7-2, and then halfway down the backstretch went back to 6-1.
And the 1 took
somebody canceled their bets.
1 took some more money there, and Holmes made an aggressive move there. I don't love that. I'm going to try and go to the inside here of the speed horse because the 2 kind of came over on him, and what you should do as a jockey is come over there, protect the rail. And that shuffled the one back pretty good. It put him in a little bit tougher of a spot. The six
looks like the 2's running out of energy. Here comes the 6 that I couldn't leave off the ticket, but didn't really want to make a case for. It looks like Irad's all in on the 4 now.
Yep.
Let's see. Come on, 2. Let's go gate to wire. Beat Jose Ortiz here.
The 3 is done. The 4 is starting to swing out wide. The 1 horse has a little bit of energy there on the inside.
Come on,
too.
2.
That check might have cost him. I think the 2 put the 6 away. I think this is the 1 and the 4 are the challengers to the 2 here.
Come on, 2. Come on, let's go.
I don't think
all the way, baby. Gate to wire. Oh yeah.
Come on, just hold him off. He's opening a little bit. Yeah, 6 ain't getting by.
Oh yeah.
You can tell we're on the turn. Like,
come on, let's get to the wire. Let's get to the wire.
Easy
wire,
there,
wire,
easy there, 4.
Wire. No! Gosh, that horse didn't deserve to win. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I didn't start yelling early enough.
Oh, he just got tired, man. That's brutal.
Screw you, Irad.
Oh.
Get a new license plate. I mean, that horse, he was scrubbing him around the turn, and that's not how you want your Todd Pletcher, Rapoli, Irad 3-2 shot to have to win. I mean, the 6 maybe just softened the 2 up just enough.
Yep.
Oh, I thought we were home.
Well,
Even here, I thought we were home. I'm like, wire.
We didn't get the bob either, did we?
I don't think so.
No, we got beat.
We're toast.
Yeah,
well, we're alive, but we're toast, man.
Yeah,
that was going to make the pick 4 pop.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been.
You get that 2 home, and then if my single gets home, you're looking at probably $1,000 pick 4 for 50 cents or more.
Yep. And we both had that 5. We both could have been live there to something in the last.
Yeah.
Oh, that's frustrating. That 2 would have been such a big difference in the pick 4.
Junior Alvarado did everything right there. You can't,
No.
I'm a jockey critic, but I can't even criticize it. He did everything he could, and Irad just times it perfectly. I think that's 3 wins on the day for Irad. That's the shortest price he's won at, though, right?
It is. Wait, that's 3? That means he's got 5,000 now, doesn't he? Or 4,000?
Oh, congrats.
I think he was 2 away going into the day.
Well, he'll be able to keep the lights on another week at the house.
He got suspended today, too.
Yeah, what a day. 5,000 wins and a suspension.
Yeah, he got the 5-day suspension.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I wish that 2 gets
It's funny. Horse racing, the governors or whoever they aren't, jockey can get suspended for 14 months, but we can't do anything on the other end. But
man,
another conversation for another day.
Look how much money that 7 took late, too.
Oh,
14-1 in the gate, 7-1 out of it.
Sweezy must have placed his bet. I don't know. He was 13-1 when we were loading. And then the 6 kind of floated up a little bit. That's odd. The 6 was 7-2 halfway down the back stretch. And then, Amount got some money late. Good call on the 5 being terrible because you did not want anything to do with that horse.
I'm telling you, Tampa to Gulfstream is auto chuck. Gulfstream to Tampa is maybe a play. I will play terrible horses at Gulfstream that go to Tampa Bay Downs, especially if they have speed. Because it is dangerous if you have speed and you're going from Gulfstream to Tampa on the dirt, especially.
Absolutely. Oof. Well, I am throwing away a $25 pick 3 to Conglomerate through those 2 legs. I had the 2 singled in one of my pick 3s that I played. So we'll just try to root home this pick 4 now. 3 wins in the day. Congrats, Irad. Those fractions, they going 24, 47, going on 1 turn mile. That's Gulfstream. That's not bad. That's maybe a little quicker than these wanted to go.
You tell me he runs the race in 136-4. I'm happy. The last race he was in, he lost and went 136-4. So you're like, look, he ran better than last time. He had some heart on the lead. Again, that 6 was never getting by if they went another time around. You could tell once they got about early stretch that the 6 was just not going to be able to pass the 2. And then it was whether or not the 1 or the 4 was going to come running. And it was a 4, fortunately and unfortunately, because I would have liked that 2 to get home.
I'm telling you, anybody else is riding the 4, our 2 wins. That's all I got to say. That was impressive. I mean, why is he trying that hard in a $20,000 claimer?
Well, the key was he started trying that hard in the backstretch. Because if he's not scrubbing the whole way, that horse isn't close enough to win by a nose.
Yeah. Maybe they'll show the replay here really quick, and we can start seeing that again. Because I think I made a comment. I said, he's already asking the 4, and they were barely halfway down or halfway around the turn at that point.
Yep. Yeah. Let's see. The pick 3 to your 5. Oh, why is it not scrolling for me? Oh, we'll have to have some more suspense. Let's see if we can get it up here. Pick 3s are actually decent. The 8, who is your favorite's $50, but man,
Ooh.
that would have ballooned with that too.
108 to the 5.
There you go.
Conglomerate. Martin Drexler, Chad Brown claim. Oh, it wasn't even close. We got the worst in the bob too. But look how the horse stuck his right foot out. You can't teach that. That is, I got to get a screenshot of that for future reference. That is how you teach a horse where the wire's at, Todd. Nice.
Irad went to the low right stick to get it out there.
Yeah, the low right stick. Hey, let's get your foot up there. I mean, that's impressive. His hoof is like ahead of his head.
Yeah.
I don't see that.
Oh,
But
that
yeah, bad bob.
yeah, man, that double would have been nice there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. But we had every reason to try to toss that 4 horse. I mean, look, I'll let a $5 horse beat me all day long that has the running lines of that 4. You know, if we go back here, top pick, but you know, the horse was dropping massively in class. That's what this was. He dropped back down to the level of his maiden, you know, going 7 furlongs here at Gulfstream. And then showed no effort at all in the previous 3 starts. We're thinking, man, Pletcher's just wanting to get rid of this horse, and here he comes and gets us at the wire. But 4 must have been watching the Olympics. Nice. Summer Olympics, you know. Okay, there we have it there. And now, you know, we'll see the wheel pays into the 5 are kind of nice. If we get this 5 home, $108 for the pick 3. This pick 4 still is going to pay $800 to $1,000. Maybe if we can get it home. Uno Tiger is going to be your favorite. This is Paco Lopez teaming up with Kathleen O'Connell here. Definitely like this horse as well. I felt like if I wasn't going to single in this leg, I probably would have had to have used a decent amount of horses. Mike, where did you land here? I know I just singled the 5, but looks like you went kind of deep here.
Yeah, I went 1, 3, 4, 5, 8 here. I thought this was the toughest race to work your way through. The 4 horse Diligent was my top pick in this spot. I like Jaramillo. I thought that the race 2 back was good enough to win over this surface, going a mile and a 16th. We're going a mile and 70, which was the last race out. So I wish this was a little bit longer, but you can see that GSR jump there from last time to this time. So I like the fact that we got this GSR bump. Also second off the claim. Zerpa horses generally continue to improve once they're in the barn. I like this horse second off the claim. I think we're going to sit the perfect trip too. I mean, Diligent's going to be able to sit mid-pack. You don't want to be up front. You don't want to be all the way in the back. Should be able to get first run and get a decent trip here. And Jaramillo has been riding the synthetic very well. You mentioned earlier there's a couple jockeys that have been doing really well in the synthetic. Jaramillo, and it has been one of them. Ortiz has ridden it well. Castellano has ridden it well. So I like the fact that we're getting Jaramillo up here for the Zerpa barn. 19% angle there. And 17% on 9-2 shot from that. Just a win algorithm is pretty solid as well.
Yep, absolutely. I'm all over the 5 here, Conglomerate. This horse was in Chad Brown's barn. I've actually been live at Gulfstream Park for each of his last 2 wins and happily cashing tickets on both of those. This horse loves a synthetic. Gaff Leon's ridden this horse the last 2 times out for the win, and you get claimed by the Drexler barn. So a lot of people don't know who Martin Drexler is. I believe he's a Woodbine trainer that comes down here in the wintertime. Look at some of these stats. First off the claim, 28%. Synthetic 21%, routing 19%. Those are pretty damn good numbers. And you get Gaff Leon that stays aboard. If this horse said Chad Brown is the trainer, he would probably be 2-1, 5-2 in a spot like this. But you're getting 8-1 live and the morning line. And so I felt like at a price, you know, this 5, I was willing to take a stand on it. I'm glad I'm live in the pick 4 with 4 in the last. So, you know, I was going to take a stab here.
I used the 5. The 5 was the last horse on my ticket. And my concern with the 5 here is that we need to improve, right? So first off, that the last race isn't good enough to win this. So you need to improve off the claim.
46 to a 54 SOR. Definitely need some improvement.
So you need to improve off a Chad Brown claim, which is not generally the easiest thing to do. The other issue is that, so this horse, if you just look at the quality of the race, and this goes back to kind of the race size there, 2 back breaks its maiden $16,000 maiden special weight, then wins at 12.5 claimers, right? So pretty low level here. They're I don't know if they're running any lower than 12.5 on the synthetic right now. And now we're in a $20,000 allowance. So we're protected. Now the horse has taken 2 monster steps forward in those 2 races, right? So the lights might have come on upstairs, and the horse could definitely improve off the claim. I mean, it's all possible, right? Which is why I use the 5. But to me, there's a couple issues around it that I'm a little concerned about. It's one of the reasons why it was the last horse on the ticket there. I think, someone mentioned the 2 in here, which is interesting. The 2 is definitely going to be on the lead. And last time was able to be up close and get the job done at 13-1. That was against maiden 25s. Again, it's tough for me to back a horse that's coming out of that type of level right out of the gate against winners. And that's kind of like, the one horse who's been at this level, been at $20,000 claimers the last 3 races, claimed all 3 of those races, and now heading back to the Kelsey Danner barn, which is where he started that streak. I think is interesting. So I'm interested in the 1 here at 5-1. The 3 I think is kind of self-explanatory. The horse runs 1 race over the synth, runs a monster race. So you got to respect the 3 horse. The 8 horse is the other one who I think is interesting and who I expect is going to be your favorite. This horse was claimed by Christopher David 2 back, jumps into a handicap, and Yamoto wins that race. And Yamoto is one of those horses that you need to know the name of if you're following Gulfstream Park. I think this horse has now won 3 straight times on the synthetic, been a short price 2 of those 3 times. Anytime you see Yamoto in the running line, that's a horse you got to pay attention to because that horse has just been unbeatable on the synthetic. Looked absolutely
He's the best starter allowance horse at Gulfstream Park on the synth.
Yep.
Lost on the turf last time out, going 1.5 miles. This horse needs to stay on the synthetic. Yamato.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the thing is that if you have sometimes following a circuit enough tells you how good a race can be. And that number came back unusually high for Strike the Top, but it's because of how good Yamato is. And that's why I almost believe it versus kind of fade away from it. So I respect the 8 quite a bit here too.
Yeah. There was a inquiry in that Yamato race last weekend. Because I think a 30-1 shot, it was Road to Meath. Road to Meath ended up winning at like 30-1. And a lot of people were arguing, you didn't take down, the 4 there because he actually steadied Paco. And I don't know all the ins and outs of like how the stewards make their decisions because, it can depend on the steward from day to day. But then later on that day, Irad got taken down because he came out and kind of, bullied a little bit. But he corrected. He didn't steady the horse. He just came out and corrected right away. And it was with like a 16th of a mile to go. So there was time to recover. And I didn't benefit from either of those decisions.
Well, that's the crazy part, man. I mean, like there was inconsistency there, right? I was surprised that they like I would have expected a more consistency from the stewards. And the Irad ride is one of the ones and this is the other part that I know just bothers people. That was a classic Naira ride from Irad. If you watch Naira when he's up there, when he's at Belmont or Saratoga and he's riding, he will herd horses out 4 or 5 paths and not get taken down. And that is exactly what he did in that race. He herded that horse out 4 or 5 paths and he brushed him twice, but neither was heavy enough contact for the horse to flip leads or anything like that. That's seen, but he definitely forced that horse further and further and further out as the stretch went on. And so it was interesting to see him come down for that. That
was brutal. I texted you. I said, this was my get out of Fairgrounds bet. I was like, I can win at Gulfstream. I can't at Fairgrounds. And so I was like, yeah, Mike, I got a huge double here. Oh shit. It's coming down.
Yeah, that was a frustrating one because it's also probably the best horse and just like, oh crap. Oh, well,
yeah, Nick, Yamato lost last time out. That was that race we were talking about going 1.5 miles on the turf.
Yep.
Him on the synthetic is where we like Yamato.
He's been deadly there. We got it looks like they're not even out of the paddock yet. We got 7 minutes to Laurel. Do you want to jump over there and then we can wrap it up after that?
Yeah, let's jump over to Laurel, wrap it up. You've got the Magic Mike show coming on. What time are you guys going live, Mike?
We're going live at 5 o'clock over on the Racing Dudes YouTube channel, and we're covering the late pick 4 from Oaklawn, which is wildly difficult. I don't know. Have you looked at Oaklawn yet this week?
I looked at it. There's only 2 stakes races. I thought there'd be a few more stakes races than what I saw on the card. Right.
It's not heavily stakes, but man, we're talking 12 horses per race, 10 to 12 per race, just some really, really tough races. You're going to have like 5-2, 3-1 favorites in a lot of those. You've got 3 pick 5s, 3 or 4 pick 4s. Like it is just it's a crazy, crazy card at Oaklawn. If you hit any multi-race wet bet, you're going to get paid, maybe except for the first one. There's one really short priced horse. I handicapped the card already.
Wow.
I think it's
go check out the Magic Mike show. You guys are going to get an hour break, so go do what you got to do, but make sure at 5 o'clock you're back in front of your computers or your phones watching Magic and Mike tackle the Oaklawn late pick 4 on the Magic Mike show. We're going to wrap this up here at Laurel Park and send you guys off. We've got a 3-5 favorite, Illustrious, the 4 horse here, another heavily bet favorite for these jockey trainer connections. Lost last time out, or not this horse last time out, but the previous race, they were heavily bet at 7-5 and didn't get the job done. Will they get the job done in this 3-5 shot? Looks a lot stronger than the favorite in the last race. We've got 49% win, hot jockey. Looks like this horse is going to be up close to the pace, but you're going to have to forgive that last effort if you're going to support this horse at 3-5. Lost at Aqueduct by 25 lengths in a maiden claimer. This is also the maiden claiming level. Laurel, a little bit different than the New York circuit. This horse raced at Saratoga, raced at Keeneland, has been going against tougher. Mike, I'm not going to probably bet this horse if my life depended on it. What do you think?
This is one of those where you're like, how much do you trust New York form going into Laurel, right? Because that's really what the most important part of this is. Because if you believe New York form going into Laurel is good, you love the 4 here, right? The numbers for the 4, and this is like, we talked a lot about buyers last Monday on the Magic Mike show too. Like, this is an interesting spot because this horse has run better buyers, but never finished higher than 3rd, right? So a lot of times those buyers are set by how fast the time is. A lot of it's not the first horse that's setting them. And if you see a specifically high buyer, it's hard to get a worse buyer behind it. So like, you have these races where it's just, they kind of get inflated, and you see it a lot in stakes races. If you do ever handicap using buyers and you see a horse and you look at his stakes race, often that's his best buyer. It's like, well, why in that stakes race do you run better? Well, he was running behind horses that were a little bit faster. He stayed in touch with them and got a better buyer than he ever had before. So a lot of times those are kind of throwouts, and that kind of is what it looks like here when you're looking at Illustrious, the 4 horse, is that some of those races may be kind of false positives. Now, it's all going to be about pace, right? I mean, it's almost impossible to understand how fast this horse is because of the races it's coming out of. And it was, close to the pace in most of those New York races. So you got to think, okay, this horse is probably going to be able to be up close. But then you have that one horse that showed speed going 6 furlongs last time. So if no one challenges the 4 is going to be very tough to beat. If the 1 goes with the 4, then all of a sudden I'm looking at the 2 horses, a price here as someone who's got a shot. Second off a layoff, I think you have every right to improve. You had added front wraps and Lasix last time out. You get a GSR bump this time, so your second front wrap, second Lasix, getting a bump on the GSR side, second time out after the layoff. I mean, like, there's a bunch of reasons why I could project improvement here on the 2 horse, who's a nice price. The problem is the 2 does not have much early speed, so we're not going to be so close to the pace, and we're going to need the 1 and the 4 to bang heads a little bit.
And we saw the last race, it was kind of a merry-go-round track with the 7 and the 1 just going right to the lead, and they just continued on. So, if I was singled to the 4 in a multi-race bet to cash the pick 5, I'd feel good about it. As far as betting this race, this is where it gets a little bit tricky because, the one thing when you're constructing your tickets is never chase. The worst thing you can do is chase. So, if you're going to try to get some kind of value out of this race, I could see the 4 and the 1 going right around a merry-go-round again. So if you want to play a small exacta, 4 over the 1 or maybe 1 over the 4, if you think the 1 can step up a little bit, you're getting a decent price at 5-1, 9% on the win. The horse that's dead on the board's the 3. This horse was even or 6-5 on the morning line, 5-1. That's not a good sign, but EE predicted that. EE said this horse is not going to be a 6-5 morning line. He's going to be more like 4-1. So, but the horse also has a 21% win percentage. So this is one of those horses where people ask me, hey, what do you do when you get conflicting algorithms? It's not a good sign for the horse. I don't think the horse should be 21% to win. If he's going to be 5-1, if he was going to be more, if the EE morning line was more like 6-5, then I would feel better about it. But we got a low jockey trainer combination. Monterey only wins at 4% by himself. And so, all systems point here to fade the horse off of a 6-5 morning line, which is always good for your multi-race wagers. You actually got probably a better price on a 9-5 morning line. Illustrious here, who's a way better horse. Yeah,
this is basically the 4th time at this level, almost 5th time at this level. It keeps improving slightly, but not all that much. And, we've gone a mile 16th twice. We've gone 2 turns, and I would argue those are 2 of the better races. We've gone 1 turn once, or did a 7 furlongs once, and that was okay. But the 1 turn mile was really bad. Horse lost is a 70 cent on the dollar favorite last time out. I mean, to me, there's a lot of reasons to kind of avoid the 3 horse here. I mean, I think I'm going to punch a 4-2 exacta cold, and then I'm going to play the 4 over the 1-2 try, and then play heavy 4-2-1 on the try and see if I can get this 2-horse to sneak into second at some value. And if not, if the 2 can run third, I probably make a couple bucks on the race, but nothing crazy.
There you go. There you have it. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us for the last hour of Good Chalk, Bad Chalk. Be sure to like the show. Tune in next week. We don't know kind of what's going on yet. I may be going to Fountain of Youth. I may be freezing my ass off up here in Indiana. But we'll let you know at least a day or two prior of what we're going to cover and when we're going to have the show. Give us some suggestions on Twitter if you guys want to see, a little bit different of a show, a little bit different of a track. We're happy to cover things. If you have questions about your handicapping, about your ticket structure, we're happy to go over those things in the next show. So, yeah. Mike, thank you. Good luck on the Magic Mike show.
Thanks,
and,
man.
We'll see you next week, whether you're playing the good chalk or you're fading the bad chalk. See you guys. All right. I felt like